After a failed attempt at open negotiations with Great Britain, popular support for declaring independence from Britain grew in the American colonies. Then in May 1775, the Continental Congress met and delegates prepared to defend the colonies militarily by creating a Continental Army. Interestingly, while preparing for armed resistance, many delegates still hoped a compromise with Britain was possible. Initially, the Continental Legislature drafted what became known as the Olive Branch Petition. This 1775 document requested negotiation on tax and trade policies. In the Olive Branch Petition, the delegates swore their loyalty to the king and expressed the hope that their grievances with Britain could be addressed through negotiations. When the petition was delivered, however, the king refused to read it. Then in early 1776, Thomas Paine, a recent immigrant from England, published Common Sense, a pamphlet calling for colonial separation from Great Britain. The pamphlet, which was widely read in the colonies, made the argument that it was only common sense that the colonies declare their independence. Paine vehemently attacked the institution of monarchy with statements such as, "For as in absolute governments the king is law, so in free countries the law ought to be king." Paine's pamphlet helped convince many colonists that it was time to sever political ties with Britain. In June 1776, the Continental Congress created a committee to draft the Declaration of Independence, which justified the American colonies' separation from the British Empire. The document intended in part to rally foreign support for the American cause. The Declaration was mostly written by Thomas Jefferson, who drew upon the ideas of the English political philosopher John Locke to justify the decision for independence. Locke based his views on the social contract theory, or the idea that government originates as an agreement between the governed and those who govern. Locke believed in the idea of natural rights, that is, rights that individuals possess simply by being born, including the rights to life, liberty, and property. If a government fails to protect these rights, then the social contract is broken, and people have the duty to replace that government. The idea that government was based on the consent of the governed seems common sense today, but was quite revolutionary at the time. Since ancient times, most European governments had been monarchies. The new government would be a republic, where elected representatives chosen by the people would hold political power, which was a radical notion. Importantly, from the beginning, the United States embraced the principle of natural rights and limited government. The longest section of the Declaration of Independence is the Declaration of Grievances, or injustices which justified the colonists' Declaration of Independence. The grievances include imposing taxes without our consent, depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, and the dissolving of colonial assemblies. The Declaration further cites the stationing of large numbers of troops in the colonies and cutting off trade with the rest of the world. After listing the reasons, the Declaration concludes by asserting that the 13 colonies are now free and independent states, and all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is dissolved.